Monsters were never under my bed. They were always right beside it. They laid me down to sleep at night and bewitched me with the quiet. For far too long, my breath bowed every skeleton into the dust. My veins spilled of hot lithium until my tears began to rust. Now my bones will melt to marble ivory as the red, crimson quiet consumes me. Slowly, finally, as it should be. I inhale the grief, my last goodbye. Phantoms may wail from torture and pain, but I scream into the quiet for being alive.
Wow.
Sorry, I sound crazy.
You don't sound crazy, Aaron. Not at all. So the quiet, you've mentioned that in your poetry before. Is that a destination? Someplace you feel safe from all of this noise?
Yeah, I guess.
Did you ever think about the people you'd be leaving behind?
I just feel that the only person who actually would have cared already left me behind. Didn't you read my file?
Aaron, I could sit here all day reading words written on a piece of paper by someone who hardly even knows you and draw my conclusions that way. What's more valuable to me is your story, because it's no one else's to write.
Well, I was adopted when I was 3. Never knew my real parents or why they didn't want me, but honestly, it didn't matter because Dad and Mom were great. They really were. But I always kind of felt divided. Like my mom and I were really close, and then Dad and Maddie.
Your stepsister.
Yeah, she was Daddy's little girl, but my mom and I were inseparable. She just got me. I mean, she had dreams and passion and vision, but she also had a real darkness. And I think I learned that from her.
So what happened to your mom?
Drinking?
She was an alcoholic.
Is that what my file says? Because it's not true. She wasn't addicted to alcohol. Alcohol was addicted to her. I mean, it would tell her these lies that she just kept listening to, and one day those lies became her truth. Eventually, she realized that there was a problem, but she didn't want to burden anybody with it. So she left. After she took all the pills, I started to hate everything that she taught me to love. I mean, nature and horses and sunrises. I mean, who hates sunrises? But in all of that, it really made me feel like I was all alone.
But you weren't alone, right? You had your dad and your sister.
I love them, I really do, but it kind of felt like they didn't need me anymore. I mean, Maddie, she got married. She had kids, and Dad was busy playing grandpa. One big happy family. And I just felt like the ghost that haunted them. So I kept to myself, even on my worst days.
But in order for a ghost to haunt, it has to make its presence known. Did you try to talk to them, to tell them how you felt?
They were always just so busy, and I didn't want to bother them. I mean, I was busy too, don't get me wrong. Being a nursing assistant is really demanding. Most of my patients are older, and I was often the person who would watch them take their last breath. And that was really hard. And when I came home, I just needed...
You needed someone.
Yes.
And when they weren't there for you, what did you do?
I tried to find someone.
Did you?
For a while, yeah. I thought he was the one to fix me, to fix everything. I loved him.
Aaron, we can never rely on someone else to fix things for us. That's how expectations are broken, how disappointment is met. You have to heal yourself first.
I know that now, but at the time, I never had someone choose me like he did.
Did he know anything about your past?
No. And I wanted to keep it that way. I didn't want to scare him away with the truth. I never even let him see my scars. But he gave me scars of his own.
What happened between you two?
The same thing that happens with them all. I wasn't good enough.
Was that what made you do it?
You know, I don't think that there was one specific thing. It was just a lot of pressure. It was just too much. I could blame everyone for everything. I could. But this is my problem.
Were you afraid that if you said anything to anyone, you'd become a burden
Like my mom? Yeah.
I just want to understand why you decided to end your own life. You said it was because of the pressure, but I think there's something else.
Like what?
Control. Or lack of control, I should say. Last session, you mentioned you were having these nightmares about your mom and your dad and your patients at the hospital. You were losing control even in your own mind. In that same session, you talked about when you were younger, using self-mutilation as a way to regain control. That the physical pain you felt in that moment was the only thing you had any power over. Am I right on that?
I haven't done that since I was 18, but yeah, I scared everybody. No one understood.
So why not do that? Why decide to end your own life?
Because you're right. It was always about control. And I was tired of fighting for it. I wanted it once and for all.
For far too long, my breath plowed every skeleton into the dust. My veins spilled of hot lithium until my tears began to rust. Now my bones will melt to marble ivory as the red crimson quiet consumes me. Slowly, finally, as it should be. I inhale the grief, my last.
You know, you're very lucky your father came back for you.
I don't believe in luck. Not anymore.
So what changed?
I don't know if this is the answer you're looking for. But honestly, I started reading the Bible.
Is that something you've always done?
No. I'd heard that it had helped some people, and I was kind of hoping it would do the same for me.
And did it?
At first, I did not know what I was reading, but I really started to understand it.
Understand what exactly?
That I'm worth it. I have never been alone. That I have been so loved this entire time, and all I had to do was accept it. My freedom is a gift. For him, it wasn't. I mean, he gave the ultimate sacrifice for me. My entire life, I have been vying for somebody to choose me. I hadn't realized somebody already had. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know it all, because I don't. I know that I feel changed. I feel different, like I've been given a second chance. I've been washed clean. Okay, it's really hard to explain. Can I read you something?
Please.
Even when night suffocates the sky, I know the light will lead my way. The sun may rest for now, while I search for the colors of a new day. I am done stumbling over rocks that were laid at my feet. I am no longer condemned. I now have true life. I can finally breathe. So here I am, out of the quiet and into the light. And through it all, I've come to find I found the joy of being alive.
You should be proud of yourself, Erin.
Thanks. But I didn't do it all on my own.
Oh, wow. Time flies. We have to end here.